If you correspond with Ralf on television, video, or telephone, audio, or you chat, text, or email him, you're giving him permission to duplicate it, rebroadcast it on any of the Take Your Life Back Today show broadcasts.
Yeah, beat your addiction, live free. Ralf Friedrichs is who you see. Listen in when you're feeling low. Take back your life, today's show. Beat your addiction, live free. Ralf Friedrichs is who you see. Listen in when you're feeling low. Take back your life, today's show. Stay positive, hope, and keep faith. Stand strong against any odds that you face. Put away the alcohol and the drugs. Fill your time with the things you love. Addiction is tough, but it's worth the work. Treat your body what it's worth. Spread positivity, inspire all. If we stand together, we will never fall. I help others see the other sides of life. A sober life, letting go of the strife. So give me a call, I can help. 1-844-405-HELP. Homeless shelters, hospitals, jails, wherever you are. I am Ralf Friedrichs and I am here for you. 1-844-405-HELP.
Hi, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm the host of the Take Your Life Back Today show. I want to dive into 10 heartwarming stories about last wishes being fulfilled. With all the bad things going on in the world today, it's not much more heartwarming than to hear stories like the ones that I'm going to mention now. Not enough people have the chance to fulfill their last wishes, but the people on this list did. Whether it was by their own hard work or the hard work of groups like Make-A-Wish Foundation, these men and women were able to live out their last dreams before passing away. The man who dreamed of flying again. Sadly, Fletcher was no longer able to fly as he got older, but he never lost his love of reminiscing about the days he spent in the air. After hearing many of Fletcher's stories, the caretakers at his hospital decided to make their mission to grant his wish of taking one more flight somewhere. The caretaker worked together with Lost Nation to arrange for Fletcher and his two children who are afraid of flying to take a ride in the Cessna 172 for a few hours. Despite their fears, his kids joined on and elated Fletcher on his last flight. Robert Fletcher spent a whole life in the air. His passion for flying began when he first learned how to pilot an aircraft from a group of friends. Fletcher later developed his skills while working at the Lost Nation Airport in Ohio, where he repaired and painted the planes. As a perk of the job, he would test the mechanics of the single-engine planes by performing gravity-defying spiral tricks and loops. The man who wanted to see his dog is number 2. Fortunately, McCain's paramedic, Jan Ersick, volunteered at the shelter where Eustace was taken and was able to organize one last meeting between the two. Yortzi was placed on McCain's bed and immediately began licking him all over in recognition. McLean passed away only a few days later. Artsy was since been adopted by a new family. Dogs are known as a man's best friend, and there was nothing that homeless Iowa man Kevin McLean wanted more than to see his best friend one more time. The 57-year-old man who lived in his car in Cedar Rapids for many years with his dog, Artsy, as his only companion, was his best friend. When McLean became terminally ill with lung cancer and was rushed to the hospital, Artsy was taken from him and sent to a local animal shelter. As he lay on his deathbed, McLean asked to see his dog again. The woman who wanted to see her dolphins is number 3. Linda's struggles had kept her bedridden for 20 years, only finding the strength to venture out to a local Walmart about once a month. So when the Dream Foundation heard of Linda's battle, they determined to grant her last wish to interact with dolphins. With the help of SeaWorld, they flew Linda out to San Diego to see the dolphins, giving her a reason to continue fighting to stay alive. Linda also got to fulfill her other lifelong dream to see the ocean for the first time. When Linda Hurt first discovered that she had pulmonary fibrosis, she was told that she was unlikely to live more than 5 years. Miraculously, the Wyoming native managed to beat the disease for over 2 decades. Then, at the age of 44, her condition suddenly began to deteriorate, and doctors estimate she had less than 6 months left. Then the next story is the boy who wanted to be a firefighter. His mother, Octaviana Tiroli, was eventually introduced to Linda, Paul, and Chris' gracious mother. Pauline explained that she was starting a foundation to make the last wishes of children come true and offered to make Bobsy their first formal wish. Pauling's partner, Arizona police officer Frank Shankwitz, then came by to get to know Bobsy and find out what his wish really was. Bobsy named off several dreams, including one in the hot air balloon ride, a trip to Disney World, and being a fireman. While Chris Gracious was original inspiration for Make the Wish Foundation, Frank Bobsy Seltz became the first ever child to have his wish formally granted by the organization. After being diagnosed with terminal leukemia at the age of 5, Bobsy's mother checked him into St. Joseph's Medical Center in Arizona, despite the fact that her insurance refused to pay for it. Bobsy got his trip to Disneyland and was and the hot air balloon ride both paled in comparison to the experience of becoming a fireman, he said. Rather than just simple tour of the fire station, Phoenix firefighter Bob Welp went beyond the call and duty to make Bobsy's last wish extremely special. He presented Bobsy with a customized badge and jacket and allowed him to use a hose, climb a ladder, and ride around in the truck. Bobsy's condition took a turn for the worst after Easter 1981. Shankwitz had to come to visit Bobsy one last time when there was a knock at the hospital window. Bobsy was surprised to find Bob Wolf climbing into the room along with 4 other firefighters from the ladder truck underground below. He was then wheeled downstairs to see team only to find out that their fire truck had been named Bobsy 1. He passed away later that evening. The teacher who wouldn't go until she had her degree. As a teacher, Harriet Richardson Ames dedicated her life to education. Because of this, it was her dream to receive her bachelor's degree in education before she passed away. Unlike most stories on this list, Harriet's dying last wish of kindness to others, but her own hard work and determination is the one that really made her wish come true. Throughout the years, Harriet had received various credits towards her degree in the University of New Hampshire, Plymouth Teachers College, and Keene State. While she did receive a 2-year teaching degree from Keene State in 1931, she had given up on her pursuit of a bachelor's degree by 1971, unsure she had enough credit to actually earn it or not. When she was interviewed for Keene State Senator, it became clear that she had the last item on Harriet's bucket list was to receive her degree. Immediately, the school researched the courses she took and got to work seeing if they could make the wish come true. Harriet had once stated, "If I die tomorrow, I'll know I die happy because my degree's in the works." 3 weeks after reaching her 100th birthday, she was finally awarded her diploma. Harriet passed away the next day with her diploma on her bedside. The girl who wanted to hear carols while most 8-year-old girls would be spending the latter of December getting ready for Christmas. Lainey Brown was losing her battle with terminally rare form of leukemia. She had been diagnosed only 7 months before the doctors gave her only a few months to live. After hearing the horrible news... hold on one second. Let's fix this here first. There we go. After hearing the horrible news, her family was determined to make the best of Laney's last few months. Her family was determined to work with her, getting that last wish going. Little did they know that their flight would trigger immense outpouring of support from the Pennsylvania community. Using the power of social media, the family set up a Facebook page known as Team Laney, which soon went viral, gaining about 94,000 followers. On December 14th, her family was told that Laney only had weeks to live. With her birthday only 3 days away, the Make-A-Wish Foundation was able to set up a video meeting between Laney and her favorite singer, Taylor Swift. The next day, December 21st, Laney's other wish to listening Christmas carols was fulfilled when over 10,000 people showed up to sing carols on the street outside her room. The carolers sang for an hour with tunes including Silent Night, Jingle Bells, and Happy Birthday. Laney lost her battle with leukemia on Christmas Day, but not before her final wishes came true, thanks to the generosity of others. The boy who didn't want to die a virgin in 2001, there was a bit of a morale uproar over granting one of the terminally ill Australians' wish not to die a virgin. The 15-year-old cancers had kept him in the hospital for many years, unable to experience dating as normal kids his age would. Because of this, the boy's controversial final wish was to have sex before he passed away. Without the knowledge of his parents, his friends granted him the wish by meeting up with a prostitute outside the hospital. I don't condone this whatsoever. Despite taking precautions to make sure that the encounter was safe and consensual, the incident could still be considered illegal because of the boy's age. An intense ethical debate ensued after the news of his last wish broke. Some child psychologists felt that granting the wish was illegal and extremely unethical, while others felt it should have been granted because the boy was going to die soon, probably craved the non-clinical contact. No matter which side of the debate you're on, certain that the Australian passed away during a time that he was very happy. The boy who wanted to meet the Queen. When Oliver Burton, who had been born with Down syndrome, was 3, he was given the news that no one wants to hear, that he had leukemia. At the age of 10, things looked bleak for Oliver, who had been given only weeks to live. Most boys his age would dream of meeting the most famous sports stars, actors, but not Oliver. At the top of his little boy's list was meeting Queen of Buckingham Palace. While the Queen herself was unable to fill his last wish, an unlikely candidate stood up instead. When actress Helen Mirren heard about Oliver's wish, she was more than happy to play the Queen for a day. The National Children's Tumor Leukemia Center Trust arranged for Mirren to meet with Oliver and even had a limo to bring him and his family to London to watch her play in the Queen in the audience. After the play, Oliver was brought backstage to share tea and crumpets with Marion. She even knighted him as Sir Oliver. The boy who wanted to marry his sweetheart. When it comes to regrets, the one that got away is usually up there in the list. Fortunately for this little boy, dying of leukemia, his last wish to marry his sweetheart was granted. Reese Fleming was diagnosed with leukemia at just 4 years old and battled with the condition for 4 long years. As his condition continued to worsen, his family was told that he had only been around 3 weeks to live. When asked if he had any last wishes, Reese made it known that he wanted to marry his sweetheart, Eleanor Pergslove, before he passed. His mother explained that he had been good friends for years with Reese, and even asked her to marry a few times before she finally accepted. The mock wedding occurred at the Fleming house, where Reese had been moved after giving his grim prognosis. The families did their best to make the wedding seem as real as possible, even having the couple exchange rings. Prior to the wedding, Reese was also given a chance to ride in a Ferrari and a Porsche, as well as having a pirate-themed party with his friends and local Kingsway Fire Station. After Eleanor left that day, his mother said Reese looked completely at peace. He passed away the day after the wedding. The boy who inspired Make-A-Wish. Christopher James Reese always dreamed of becoming a man in blue. He had revered police officers his whole life and wanted nothing more than to be a police officer himself. Unfortunately, the little boy's dream was put on hold when he was diagnosed with leukemia. Unwilling to let Chris's last wish go unfulfilled, U.S. Customs Officer Tommy Austin had promised him a ride in a real police helicopter. As Chris's leukemia worsened, Tommy knew he didn't have much time left, but he was determined to make his dream come true. Tommy contacted police officer Ronnie Cox and asked for help in making the wish come true. On April 29, 1980, Tommy made good in his promise of taking Chris on the police helicopter ride, and that was only a start. After an aerial tour of the city, the helicopter landed in Arizona's Department of Public Safety, where Chris was met by 3 squad cars and a motorcycle. The group then escorted the boy to become the first honorary state trooper in Arizona history. After his return to the hospital, Chris's condition continued to decline. 3 days later, Ron Cox came to the ward to present Chris with his own custom-made uniform. Chris had also told Frank Schwartzwitz that he liked the wings and his uniform, but Frank explained that he needed to pass the motorcycle test before receiving them. Without wasting any time, Frank and the officer set up a miniaturized version of the motorcycle test, which Chris was able to pass in his battery-powered motorcycle. The next day, the officers were able to present him with a well-earned set of motorcycle wings. Chris passed away the following day. Many of the people Chris had touched in his short life went on to found the Make-A-Wish Foundation in his honor. These are 10 wishes that were fulfilled. My wish for you is, if you're having any situation in life, whether it be addiction, self-esteem, depression, or any other condition or any situation, my wish for you is for you to seek help. Give me a call at 844-405-HELP, and together you and I will help you take back your life today. Bye.
but never got an answer, and wondered if God was really there. Did you feel all hope was gone, but in His time He came along and answered the prayer you thought was gone? There is no prayer too small, for God hears them all. The answer may not be just what you want, but He always knows what's right, even when we think it's wrong. Just remember, there is no prayer too small. Will ask, you shall receive. No matter what it is, I still believe. There is no prayer is just exactly what we need. There is no prayer too small, for God hears them all. The answer may not be just what you want, but He always knows what's right, even when we think it's wrong. Just remember, there is no prayer too small. No prayer too small. He always knows what's right. God hears them all. There is no prayer too small. My God hears them all. The answer may not be just what you want, but He always knows what's right, even when we think it's wrong. Just remember,